So y'all I usually come up here by myself at the beginning of the show, right? And I say a little something, blase, and we get into things. But today I am. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna give you a nice little intro, and then we are going to get things popping. So it's not gonna be a good week, but it will be a good week, but it won't be a good week. You'll see. So, ladies and gentlemen, just be prepared. It's just gonna get real today. There's a lot to discuss, but we need a little hypeness before we get to it.
The kick is away, and the kick is it's good! And the Eagles win!
It's hard to come to South Philadelphia and leave here with the win. You just don't come to Philadelphia and leave here with the win.
Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you. Let the celebration begin.
So, had a comment earlier. So Benny says, "Still bleeding green, no matter what happens. I'll always be true to the logo that represents the city of Philadelphia." I feel that.
Mm-hmm.
I can respect that, Benny. Philly says, "Here."
What's up, Philly?
What up, Philly? And then Sierra says, "What up, Benny?" So, I think the best way for us to start a specific episode is to allow everybody to give their individual thoughts on how the Philadelphia Eagles have been playing this year. I have a lot to say, so I'm not going first because I have a lot to say. So, Diva, how would you feel about going first, ma'am?
Man, we're gonna let Wyatt go first this time.
Let's go.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, let Wyatt go first. Go ahead, Wyatt. You got it.
All right. Yeah, I mean, leading up to now, it's been a lot of the same issues. What we've been talking about weeks in and weeks out, with the offense just struggling to just get yards or even just get into the end zone. It seemed like we were fine getting in the end zone for a couple weeks, and then it went right back to the norm. Well, normally these types of issues happen towards the beginning of the season, which is fine. You have a long off season, brand new team. Normally these things kind of get worked out about mid-season, whatever. But at this point, we are still seeing a lot of the same mistakes that we've been seeing since week 1 against the Patriots. And normally these types of things get corrected. And I mean, they are getting addressed week in and week out, either by Sirianni or the offensive defensive coordinator, but nothing seems to be being done as of right now. Even though they keep talking about it, we've had bye week already. We've had short stretches in between games. People are going to be tired, but you can't use that as an excuse week in and week out. You got to figure out ways to adjust to the teams that you're playing against that week, where not only are we not adjusting to each team that we're playing each week, it doesn't seem like anything's being done through each week. We're seeing a lot of the same plays being drawn up that are taking way too long to develop. We have no answer to blitzes that come after Jalen Hurts. He's holding onto the ball too long. His turnovers, he's already has more turnovers this year than he did all of last year. It seems as if the sky is falling in Philly, even though we are only 10-3 at this point. I'm not saying that we should be panicked as of yet, because we are yet only 10-3, but the signs are all there. Nothing is changing. They were making a vow after the 49ers game, after that blowout win that they had, that they were going to be switching up the defense in some capacity. You had AJ Brown in the locker room saying, "You'll see what happens this week," and then what happens against the Cowboys? Just more of the same. The offense is struggling. We can't even get to the red zone And when we do, we are just having these turnovers. I mean, it was like the same as last year through a couple games. You had AJ fumbling, you had Quez fumbling, Devontae. I don't remember if he had any fumbles, but you get the point. And it just seems like each week, whatever can go wrong will go wrong at this point. Whereas before, you would either have an offense that's actually able to go down and score points and the defense is letting up everything. And then you would either have the defense actually doing well and then the offense can't do anything. Well, now it's at this point where it's just everything's going wrong. The offense and defense are struggling and it doesn't seem like anything's being done. I mean, we keep hearing about the standard is the standard, yet we haven't seen any great football through, what is it, 13 weeks now? We haven't seen the Eagles really not just blow out a team, but win handedly. We're not seeing any type of fight in this team the past couple weeks, like we have through a majority of these weeks of this season, where not only do they look exhausted, they just don't look interested. It doesn't look like they have any fight in them. And now you have players out here talking anonymously to reporters. And, that's, one of the signs of trouble, not just within an organization, but within a locker room. Like you're starting to lose the players at this point. They're not buying into the scheme. They're not buying into what you're calling on offense. They're calling out the offense for not being creative and just running the same stuff over and over. It's becoming predictable. And we're going into a stretch where you have to win games. Yeah, you're coming up against teams that don't have good records, but we didn't look great these past couple weeks. And you're coming into a Monday night game against the Seahawks, who are competing. Even though they are losing in some of these games, they're competing until the very end, where we're not even able to do that at this point. We're just getting blown out the past couple weeks. Yeah, it was against the 49ers and the Cowboys, but you could easily go against Seahawks and, end up with an L. And I mean, and the Giants are getting hot at the right time. You could say we could end up getting an L by them as well, unless something gets fixed. I mean, we shouldn't be saying through 13 weeks how the offense needs consistency. You shouldn't be saying, you shouldn't have a laundry list of problems 13 weeks into a season when you're 10-3. Something needs to be done. And unfortunately, I don't think it will be done at this point. I mean, Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman can go out there and talk to Nick and Brian Johnson all they want. I think the only thing that could happen is maybe Nick gives Brian Johnson full control if he's willing to do that, like he did with Shane Steichen in 2020 or 2021. I just don't know what's going to happen at this point. I mean, we're kind of in limbo because we were supposed to figure out what this team was made of against the Cowboys after, taking one in the chin against 49ers, and they just came out and did the same stuff, and they just left the stadium with their heads down. And it's not a good sign. And especially with the anonymous reports coming out, it doesn't help one bit. So once again, we're asking, like, how is this team going to respond going into a Monday Night Football against the Seahawks team who can compete in these games? Hopefully they're able to adjust, but with the play calls that we've been seeing all season, it doesn't look like there's even much more in the playbook to show. And that's what I'm really worried about, is they don't even have the plays or the schemes there to correct, or they don't have the players here to correct on defense specifically. I mean, we are going to get to it more in the show, so I'll just let it go with that. But yeah, I mean, it's not looking good in Philadelphia. All is not sunny in Philadelphia as of right now.
All I could do is shake my head, y'all. We won 10 games by the grace of the football gods. But we knew that this day was coming. We kept saying that, we got to play better. We have to figure out how to be creative, because we're not creative at all. Definitely was not creative in the red zone. The only thing that was really helping us was the tush push. That seems like the only play we have that we can execute properly. But we knew it was coming, because we know that Nick Sirianni does not know how to play call. He does not know how to call plays. And I think that's the reason why he didn't go out and get an offensive coordinator like he should have, because he wanted to call the plays. And so I think that that's why he elected to take Brian Johnson from where he was the quarterback coach to the OC. And so he knew he could run over Brian Johnson. He gave us the excuse, oh, well, Jalen's comfortable with him and he's helped him as a quarterback. But when it came to calling those plays and putting Jalen in a good position and being creative and scheming your receivers open, Shane did that. Shane did a very good job of that. He ran the ball. Granted, sometimes we would get away from the run game, which that has been a Philadelphia uh thing that we've done for a while, where we just do away with the run game when we see somebody only gain a yard or two. We're like, oh, well, that don't work no more. Let's go throw the ball. Um, but we did run the ball a lot more with Shane. We always had fresh backs in there. He knew how to give the plays to the backs. He knew that would get the plays on certain downs. And we don't have that this year. We have no creativity at all. We have maybe 5 plays, if that they know how to call, and they're not creative. So everybody's able to predict what we're gonna do. They're able to lock down AJ like Stephon Diggs did. Stephen Gilmore, he locked him down. Um, and so you're able to predict where the ball is gonna go when you know what they're gonna do, because we're not creative. And we knew this was coming. We didn't know when, but we knew that it was gonna show up. And all we kept hearing from our coaches is, "Oh, well, we're winning games. We're figuring out how to win." But we're winning because of the football gods. We're winning because we actually went out there second half and got it together. These past 2 games, we have not figured out how to even start, especially the offense. The offense has never started the first half. They've always started the second half, and the defense is the one that starts the first half. And then we finally come in with the offense and play together. It has to be a cohesive working system. Your offense has to work together. Your defense has to work together. That's the way you win games. Granted, sometimes you can win games with one or the other, but that can't be an ongoing thing. And we got used to being a second half team, as they say, and we got comfortable with that. And look where that has got us. And we know that this team is very talented. We really didn't lose that many players. We didn't lose no players on the offense. We lost a lot of them on the defense. But then I felt like in the draft, we kind of solidified those spots. But don't get me wrong, the defense is struggling. But y'all got to understand that the defense is on the field majority of the game. So how are they able to adjust? How is Desai able to adjust and figure out who needs to go where when they're always on the field? That will tire you out if you are always on the field, because your offense is always 3 and out the whole first half. Now, this game, the offense didn't score not on 1 point. The only person that scored on offense was Jake. Other than that, the only TD we had came from Jalen Carter. And that is unacceptable. Period. Jalen looks so uncomfortable. He's out there looking like Nick Foles in his first few years. Y'all remember when he used to hold the ball all the time and just be trying to wait for players to get open and then he gets sacked? That's what Jalen's doing. It seems like he can't read the defense. He has regressed a lot worse than last year, like Wyatt said. I think he has like 15 interceptions. Like, he's up there with Dak. He only had 8 last year. So that's a problem when your quarterback does not look comfortable in the pocket or rolling out the pocket, and then you have him being the main runner. Why do you have all these backs if you're always going to have Jalen running the ball? That boy is going to be injured here soon if we do not figure out how to keep that ball out of his hands and use them running backs. I don't understand how you have DeAndre Swift only carrying the ball maybe 9 times out of the last 3 games. Like, it doesn't even make sense to me. And then you have Gainwell, the Cowboys game, he had more touches than Swift. I don't understand. I don't get it. Gainwell should be the 3rd running back. He should definitely not be number 2 at all. It should be Swift, Boston Scott, Gainwell. Really, it should be Swift, Boston Scott, Rashard Penny, and then Gainwell. What did we go get Rashard Penny for if the boy's never active? You could have kept Trey Sermon on a practice squad if you wasn't going to use Penny. He wasn't going to be active. That don't even make sense to me. If you go back and look at the film from 2017, how did we win the Super Bowl, y'all? We had 2 running backs. We had Ajayi Ajayi and we had LeGarrette Blount, which is basically your Rashard Penny. You need those big backs that could bulldoze the ball into the end zone. You have all the film that you need to go and see what worked and what did not work. Each week, we are not watching film. I heard Nick say we're watching self-scouting reports. What is that? You were supposed to go and watch the film, from when we played the Cowboys in Philadelphia and barely won. I mean, we barely won that game and figured out what you could do better to make the game in Dallas better, because we knew that in Dallas, we were definitely going to have to play against the refs. We knew that. But we had no game plan. Everybody was lackluster. They had no interest. I mean, after everything that happened with the San Francisco game, I thought they was going to come out and play mad. Ain't nobody come out and play mad at all. At all. Defense, what bothers me is the line shifts slow. You have your corners and your safeties playing 5 yards off for what, I don't know. There is hardly any pass rush. The only pass rush you get is from Hassan Reddick. Nolan Smith had a pass rush. And really, that's it. Like, Reddick be putting his whole body on the line just to get to the, like, we're not even getting to the quarterback like we used to. We don't even have as many interceptions as we had last year. So I'm just not understanding, and I'm tired of hearing, well, we got to play better. We almost at the end of the season. When are we going to play better? The only way we're going to play better is if the coaches do what they got to do, watch film, and get a game plan, because they don't got no game plan, period, especially on that O-line. And I hate it for BJ because he's taking all the heat when y'all don't understand it's silly Sirianni up there calling them plays. It's not BJ, because as you notice, second half, that's when BJ called plays. He didn't call plays for the last 2 halves. But the games before that, you could tell he was calling the plays because we were running the ball. When we're not running the ball, we just throwing bombs down the darn field. That is Nick. And again, why do you have to always throw the ball down the field? Why can't you do middle passes? Slant routes? Like, you don't see none of that. All you see is either they might run the ball 1 or 2 plays, and then 1st and 10, you want to bomb it down to AJ. That don't even make sense. 1st and 10, run the ball. 2nd and 3, 2nd and 4, 2nd and 8, run the ball. The only time I should see you throwing the ball is like 3rd and 8. It is no reason why we are not using Swift. What did you go get him for if you do not trust him? Like, when that boy gets out in the field, he is gone. 30 yards. Automatic. When you got your best players fumbling the ball, something wrong. Jalen didn't fumble way too many times. AJ was dropping passes. I ain't never seen Mr. Always Open drop passes like that, on top of fumbling the ball. And then Devontae the same way, dropping passes and fumbled the ball. That is unacceptable for the talent that we have on this team. It is no way that we should be 10-3. I'm telling y'all, we really should be maybe 10-1. But 10-3 and to lose 2 back-to-back is unacceptable. And we have not beat the Seattle Seahawks in 15 years, y'all. And I don't have confidence that we're going to go on here Monday night and get a win. If we do, great. But I don't have confidence by seeing the way that we have been calling these games. And to hear your coaches give you the same BS each week, in and out. Oh, we got to play better. Oh, we try not to be predictable. Oh, it starts with me as a coach. It's been started with you as a coach, Nick. Then you always sit up there with that silly look on your face. That's how we know you calling the plays. That's how we know you don't know what you're doing. And then you talking about it's not going to be a coach's change. It needs to be ASAP. Because it ain't no way in the world you can have that much talent on that team and we play like that. Period. And I'm done. Oh, we can't hear you, bro.
I had my common candles on the entire time. I just want to make sure that I get what I need to get out and not just yell and pass out like we wouldn't be watching games. First problem, you promote a coordinator from the staff. You have all the tools. You saw what worked last year. You decide to push all that off the table, and we're going to use my offense, oh, silly Sirianni. So what you essentially did was you made Brian Johnson say, hey, Brian, this is the plan. This is the plays that you can call. If you call a play I don't like, I'm going to override you. But other than that, I'll let you use my playbook. You can call plays. So you basically brought in a coordinator and you want him to call your plays. Brian Johnson got tired of people going to him. So he started letting it be known like, hey, this is not my offense. This is Nicholas Sirianni's offense. Oh, Nicky Tight Pants himself. I'm just running the offense that he allows me to run. So you have an offensive coordinator and you make him run your offense. Why is he there? There's no point in him. If you're going to do that, take the mic yourself. Call the plays yourself so when they don't work, you can take the heat. To me, that's a coward. If I want you to be the coordinator, I want you to run it the way that you want to run it. If I'm going to have you do it the way I do it, I should just do it myself. But a coward says you got to do it with all my stuff, but I'm off. So if it doesn't work, I don't get the blame. That's a coward move to me. That's not a leader. That's a coward move. You bring in Sean Desai. I think Sean Desai gets a bad rep. So I want to point out something that I've been pondering over the last couple of weeks. But I haven't said that I've been pondering for the last couple of weeks. Where is the blame for Howie Roseman? Kaiser White left. He didn't get a lot of money in Arizona. You know, so much of that defense that we had last year, I'm not talking about like the CJGJs, you know, the guys that were out of the products range that we could pay for. I'm talking about the guys that were getting like $5 million, $4 million, but we let them go. We put a lot of hope in the Kobe Dean, and I felt like he deserved it. But there's this thing called depth. I've been talking about that since the preseason. You have to have depth, especially at linebacker. Linebacker is a very pivotal position. Howie, Nick, look me in my eyes. Linebacker is important. We can't just throw Jimmy John out there and expect him to play well at linebacker. You have to tackle at linebacker. You have to cover at linebacker. You have to read defenses at linebacker. So why haven't we done that? Because we've never valued the linebackers. And I want to ask a question. We look at our last couple of coordinators, Jim Schwartz, Jonathan Dummy Gannon himself. They all run some variation of this defense that we're seeing with Desai when they were here. But when they go to other places, they don't run that defense. Why is that? I'm getting a feeling that there's an organizational thing of a certain way that we want a defense to run. This bend but don't break crap. It hasn't worked. Bend but don't break works when you have an offense that can score points so that you're ahead and you're just able to be attacking and you're able to take advantage of situations. The reason why we led the league in sacks last year is because we were up. Quarterbacks had to hold the ball and try to make big plays. They had to try to do the things that we have to do now. Right. Come back. When you have to come back, you got to hold the ball a second or two longer. When you come back, you got to kind of abandon the run a little bit and throw the ball more. But if you mix all those things in from the beginning, you don't get there. Oh, but we haven't gotten to that yet. We took everything that Jalen Hurts does well, and we said we're not going to do that anymore. We're going to make him go and do something completely different because now he got paid. Stupid. Idiotic. That's not what successful coaches and smart organizations do. A lot of people want the coordinators fired. They want changes at the coordinators. Why? The coordinators are birthing their first year as coordinators. Desai wasn't a coordinator before. He was a defensive assistant, not at the NFL level. But guess who has been a coach for multiple years? Guess what? That's Nicky Tight Pants. That's who's been here. That's who should understand what needs to happen on the offensive and defensive sides of the ball. I don't expect the Eagles to have a top 10 defense, but last year we had a middle of the road defense. Edwards. I know Edwards wanted to go back to Chicago, but could we at least say, hey, come on, TJ, you already here, bro. Rock with the squad. We didn't do that. You know, Sidney Brown, we brought him in. Sidney Brown is a guy that by this point in the season, he should be playing the CJGJ role in this offense. But why is he not? Because we don't want him on the field. We want the same guys that start, and we don't want to ever give them rest. Keely Ringo should be seeing the field more right now. Why is he not seeing the field? Because he doesn't know what to do. Why does he know what to do? Because he never got opportunities to develop in game situations. He's set on the side. That's why. Eli Ricks, we got him playing as a nickel. Why do we have him playing as a nickel? We still got Josh Jobe in this game as a backup corner. That's the type of stuff I'm talking about. That's the garbage and trash that I see. We got Shaquille Leonard. You know, he did what he could coming in, not really knowing anything yet. So we got 4 guys on the roster at linebacker. Zach Cunningham and Nicholas Morrow are the starters. Then we got Shaquille Leonard and Ben Van Summeren, rookie, playing behind him, right? I know a lot of people look at stats and say, oh, you know, we've been fine this year, you know, at corner. No. Neither one of our corners have played up to par. Why? Because they're not getting turnovers. They're not doing the one thing that we were doing last year to be effective. That was turning the ball over. We're not getting turnovers. And we're not getting turnovers because we can't even stay with the guys to try to jump around. We can't do anything. We got a big donut hole in the middle, and we've done nothing really to try to fix that. We haven't rotated in the young guys. We need speed on the defense. One of the reasons why we play zone, a lot of people say, oh, we play too much, you know, zone and stuff, because we have older corners that don't have the speed that they used to have. Darius Slay and James Bradbury are not as fast as they used to be. They can be effective. But my expectation was we were going to use those young guys that we brought in as corners and rotate them out, get them some experience. Even if that cost us a different game earlier in the season, you have to get your young guys experience. Injuries, fatigue, long season. You don't get the young guys a chance to play, they're not ready. Now we kind of need some of those guys, and they're not ready because they didn't get the opportunity. Now, whose fault is that? That's Sean Desai, and that's Nick Sirianni. Because the head coach, it's all your fault. But Desai, you're to blame for that too. So there's a lot we can say about the defense. We're going to come back to that. Let's go over to the offense. This offense is atrocious. This offense is so predictable. And a lot of players have said it. They went to Seth Joyner and said it. They went to many different sources and said, hey, man, this is predictable. Everybody knows what we're doing. It's frustrating. The routes take too long. We don't run short routes. Everything is just try to throw the ball 1, 2, 3 times. You know, we run the ball sporadically. You went and got Swift, like Eagles Diva said. For what? You went and got Penny. For what? You're not going to use them. You're not going to do anything. All you're going to do is throw the ball. Jalen Hurts throw the ball in the field. Jalen Hurts do this. Jalen Hurts do that. Oh, and if you need to be at bailout on 3rd down, just throw the ball to Smitty or A.J. Brown. They'll catch it. We only target 3 people: Dallas Goedert, Devontae Smith, and A.J. Brown. When Nick Sirianni said that, the first thought I had was, I'm going to go old school Chris Gerald. He's stupid idiot. What is that? The reason that you have the other receivers is to take the pressure off, to get the ball to other guys. Other guys are open because everyone knows what we want to do. Everyone knows. There's no secret. I'm not even mad that you said it. I'm mad that you believe that that's the way to play. Everybody knows that's what you want to do. If you want to stop the Eagles on a passing down, you identify where Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, and Dallas Goedert are at. Those are the guys that you focus on, making sure they're being covered. Those are the guys you focus on halting their routes to the line, trying to push them to fight through and get to their spots quickly, which they aren't doing a good job of. And, you know, we can talk about the offense all day, and we'll get into more detail on that, but run the ball, and we don't. Why don't we run the ball? Because we have this idiotic belief that you don't have to run the ball to win the NFL. Just like the dude we had to come on here a few weeks ago talking about, you don't need to run the ball to win. You got to throw the ball. You know, Jalen Hurts needs to throw the ball more. Are you still saying that? Because if you are, you could go work for the Eagles, buddy, because you're just as dumb as them. I'm sick of this. We deserve better. Fans, we deserve better. Players, y'all deserve better. Coaches, y'all deserve better. But the problem is everybody is part to blame. The players are to blame. They're not playing hard as they could. Getting their routes as hard as they could. They're not getting hyped. They're not fighting, being mentally focused for entire games. That's not the coaching staff. That's the players. Now, the coaching staff is the plays being called, the way we're playing, the fact that you're expecting the same guys to go out there on defense and play all these minutes by themselves. Why has Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Nolan Smith, some of these guys not played as well lately? They're through what would be a college season. So the guys that you have playing a lot, they're a little war now. The guys that you don't have playing, they don't know what to do. You take a guy that doesn't play and you throw him in and say, hey, you go do this, 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 and this. He doesn't know what you're talking about because all he's ever done it with is a scout team defense at half speed. He hasn't been doing it. He hasn't been in game situations. That's a great way to play. That's smart. And I mean that as sarcastically as possible. We got the Seahawks game. We're going to talk about that a little bit. But what I want to let everybody understand here is we deserve better, y'all. As fans of this team, we deserve better. We were sold a bill of goods that we were going to put a good product out there this year, and that was a lie. And we've been saying all season right here, this was going to happen. And you know what? People like Sirianni said, oh, but we're 10-1. Oh, but we're 9-1. Oh, but we're 8-1. Are we 12-1? We're not. You know why we're not 12-1? Because some teams said we know what they're not going to do. They're going to continue to do the same things. We just saw how these things work, but they were able to get lucky and beat some good teams. So we're going to give it to them. And heart. Last thing I want to touch on, heart. I don't know what happened to it, but it's gone. I don't see any emotion from my quarterback. The only person I see emotion from is A.J. Brown, and that's not the right kind of emotion, A.J. I don't need you trying to get in a fight with Stephon Gilmore. I need you burning them and flicking them off. I'll take that all day. What's happening? Y'all breaking down in front of our eyes. You're not being held together by the coaching staff. You're not being held together by the veterans because you got veterans running around talking about, I want to be able to have fun with my kids when I retire, so I ain't hitting with my head. I'm hitting with my head up, and I'm only 190 pounds, so I only can do so much. I said it last week. I'll say it again. If you don't want to hit and play what needs to be done in the NFL, go home and stay. Period. It's time. We got to figure out ways to work some of these other guys in. We need depth on defense. We didn't address it. You know, we let some pieces go that we probably should have kept on defense because we had a false belief that we were just going to magically score like we did last year. And it's not happening. And everything's looking bad because of it. The season's not over. It's not time to sell. It's not, the Eagles can't do this. The Eagles can't do that. They still can. But you know what? There's one thing that's needed, and that's all throughout this is heart. Everybody got to focus heart and feel like we want to win. We're not here for this BS. We're here to win. We're here to play hard. If that means, hey, coach, I can only play X amount of snaps because I want to go out there and give it my all, then that's what it is. And coaching staff, y'all should know that we were deep last year. Biggest difference, defense, depth. We went deep at positions. And you may not have had the same talent, but you went deep. So if a guy got hurt, you had somebody to step in. If a guy wasn't playing well, you had somebody else to get in. If a guy was gassed because we had so many games in a row in a tight window, you had other guys to play. You want to put everything on the back of the same guys like you don't have a full roster. Can we go out and redo everything? No, we can't. We just have to make tweaks, and hopefully those tweaks work. What do those tweaks be? Some of these young guys have got to play on this defense. They may not be as good as the other guys. They may get burnt, but guess what? Slay get burnt. Bradbury get burnt anyway. So let some of the other guys get in. Maybe they can make up for it with their speed. What they don't have in technique, maybe they make up for in speed. So go through some comments here because y'all been rocking in the comments. Appreciate y'all for rocking with us. We had to get that out, y'all. We had to get it out early. So slide back up to the comments here. So we're going to start with Benny way back. Oh, actually, we got to go back farther than that. Oh, no, we start with Benny. So Benny says, it's definitely not a good week here. Philly, the sky is black and the things around us is very touchy. So Benny, what I want to say to you is, holler at me on Facebook. We need to talk, sir. Who McCain? Get at me. All right. Old Man Mob says, how we doing tonight? You know I had to hit the like button and I already shared on Twitter. Appreciate that, old man. Appreciate that. Then Benny says, why it's not an issue, it's a problem, a joke. This coaching staff is not the standard for Philly. See no lies. None whatsoever. Oh, we have a Facebook loser that says, love you guys. The last 2 weeks have been hard to watch. Feels like the Eagles are the definition of insanity. Do the same stupid crap over and over, expect a different result. But the OC and we are hard at making adjustments.
It's embarrassing. Looking like the Panthers out here.
Man, listen, they ain't on dumpster fire.
Coming up, my bad, y'all. All right, so A lot of that falls on Nick Sirianni. He's not getting enough blame from people. Y'all need to be giving him a lot more heat.
Yeah,
He's really not.
Agreed.
Benny says Sierra is rocking a Benny Designs. That's why you need
Yes,
to get
sir.
at me, Benny. And get at you on Twitter anymore. I don't know what happened, but they won't let me contact you. All right. And then we got the Eagles Elite, youtube.com/the Eagles Elite podcast. Just remind everybody, make sure you go there. If you're watching on another platform, make sure you slide over there and give us a like and a subscribe as well. We definitely need to share.
Much appreciated.
Yes.
Helps our algorithm. Put the likes in there.
Yes. Coach Dante. What up, Coach Dante?
Coach.
Then we got Key.
Key.
What's up, guys? What up, Key? Then we got a bowling ball with feet. There we go.
We don't got him.
Big AC, the OG Big AC with the
AC. When you gonna be up here, my man?
That's what I'm. Yeah, AC.
He's
All you
almost
gotta
I'll get him back on the show.
Right.
We can't keep throwing the three people. Absolutely. I didn't even see a bunch of these while they were saying, but it's like we all saying the same thing. Key says where the HE double hockey sticks is Swift.
On the bench.
No,
On the
he on the field.
He on the
He
bench.
says say it louder. Benny touched on something that we was going to touch on in a few minutes anyway. Now Reed is in concussion protocol, and once Blankenship went out of that game, bro, that looked like
Rapsy Scapsy.
The only person that know how to tackle on the team.
Yeah.
Literally.
Key Williams, we need to do the check downs.
Should be.
Sirianni know what that
says,
is.
Yo,
should be.
Diva is spot on. And our man E Money in the building. Go Birds. What up, E Money?
Birds.
And then Jalen showed some dang on emotion from Key.
Yeah,
very true.
Yo, I like the Jalen quotes like everybody else, but this dude, he says the same thing every week. Like we need him to like actually come out and say something. I know, that's what I'm saying. Like you need to come out and say something different. Like be mad. Come out here and let everybody know what's going on.
Yeah, I don't want to hear that crap no more. And then Sierra says, shout out to Benny for the Eagles gear. What's the standard?
We haven't seen it yet.
Williams can't cover the middle.
No, man.
We haven't had a linebacker since Jordan Hicks. Then Diva says Key Jordan Hicks wanted to come back. He did. What up, Jay?
What up, Jay?
Jay, one half of the Eagles Collective podcast. Key says, preach cool. I do what I can. Key. I do what I can. And then Jay says, I agree with the comment above. We haven't had a good linebacker since Hicks. And then old man says, I wish Cool would do this to the Pats. They need a wake-up call.
Hey, well, y'all got rid of Bill
Old man be
Belichick.
giving the
Y'all
Pats
might
a
be
hard time, but I feel it.
Bring Bill in as DC next year.
Yeah, right.
Jay says TJ Edwards wasn't elite, but they miss him. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like TJ Edwards.
Facts. Jay says you're right about the lack of depth. And then he says, our depth is a bunch of unprovens, and you got to give them a chance to prove themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And then old man says, hate to say it, but if you're really worried about having a life with your kids and stuff, then don't get into the NFL because you need to have I'll down the MF field mentally to play in the NFL. Very true, sir. Very true facts. And then Key says, okay, why with the Flyers jersey?
Repping Philly still.
And then old man says, hey, you doing it. Yeah, I don't believe the rumors of Bill because it is Tom Curran who said it. Hey, I'll say this. Oh man, for y'all, I would say, bro, my thing is he don't need to be in charge of the decisions on the roster. That's what's really hurting y'all. I'm not saying the man can't coach anymore because I mean there's always a way to cheat, so he can always be fine coaching. But the problem is personnel. He can't be over personnel.
Mm-mm.
And that's what
he doesn't have the personality for personnel.
He didn't have the personality for anything.
Yeah. I mean, the depth issue is not going to get much easier going throughout next season too, because we're going to probably be losing a lot of good guys. Probably going to be retiring. It's not going to get any easier going forward. I mean, that's also like you're saying, cool. Like some of this blame's got to go on Howie Roseman. I know we talk about all the great signings and draft moves he's made over the past year or two, but we're seeing now what's wrong with the team. I mean, one, you had Avonte Maddox who gets hurt every single season, and you didn't have a backup plan at all. You had to go out and get Roby, who was one of the only nickels out there that was decent enough and wanted to sign with us. And then you ended up bringing like Leonard in and all this. But like, I don't know. You're right. We hit the jackpot with a lot of these free agent signings last year. We didn't have the money to go out and get a ton of decent free agents this year. And now next year we might have some money, but we have a ton of young guys and some other guys that are going to probably be retiring or leaving again. So we're going to have even more holes to fill next year. So we're going to have a lot of work to do. But I mean, this season isn't over yet. We ain't giving up by any means. It just needs fixed ASAP.
I feel you, old man. I definitely feel you. Benny says the standard for the Eagles football is high energy playing with passion, playing for the guy next to you. We fly together, we got together, but we're not going down without a fight. Yeah, and I haven't seen that the last
not seeing
2
any
weeks,
of
Benny.
it.
And that's
no
the part,
high energy.
That's the part
no fight.
that pisses me off. Like, I don't care about a lose. I could care less about a loss. You know what I'm saying? Because you're gonna lose. You ain't going out. We weren't gonna go out there and go 16-1. I could care less about a loss.
Yeah,
but it's the way you lose
swinging.
that matters. Yeah, we went down like one punch. You know what I'm saying? We went down like we was taking a
2 weeks in
dive
a row
for extra few thousand. Because we need to make sure we take care of our baby mama or something. I don't know what's going on.
And you're going against the Seahawks, who's
seeing from the Eagles,
making competitive games against good teams. Even though they losing, they were going to win that game against Dallas, and then Dallas ended up coming back. There was a couple other games they were able to compete in, but you can't be caught. Might be caught slipping against these Seahawks. And you in Seattle too. You better come in here with your A game, or it's going to get ugly again. Especially with DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. You're going to get burnt if you don't figure something out.
If you don't go watch film,
we're going to definitely
last
break
week,
that down.
Then we in trouble. Period. If you watch the self-scout report,
that's not what Nick believes in.
Yeah.
Yes. That's
and this whole Nick Sirianni, Brian Johnson thing is like Doug Pearson and Mike Groh all over again. We going through it again, like 3 years later.
Well, it's worse because Mike Groh wasn't even calling plays. He was the QB coach that Nick wanted to make the OC. This right here, this is you basically saying you're going to coach the offense, but you're going to only use what I tell you to use. That sounds stupid. Like that literally,
yeah.
When I think about it, that sounds just stupid. But we got to recap the game that happened last week. So, I have to say about the game is the game sucked.
No, bro, you
again flat.
You going in and
punched
out.
in the face. So, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we hear you now.
Yeah.
I think Nick is been bugged you.
Yeah.
We lay down, cry for mommy. He might have. I'm sick of this. I'm just sick of just trash, man. And we've been looking bad. I'm sick of it. And Benny says the standard started in 1933. And he also says DK embarrassed Slay the last time we played them. DK embarrassed everybody until they start fighting his quarterback and his team. But yeah, it's a different story. All I'm going to say about the Cowboys game is this. We're a better team than we went out there and played. We gave the most annoying fan base in all of the NFL an opportunity to, what's the word I'm looking for? Pontificate on their believed greatness because the way we let them beat us. Not even that we lost the game, but the way we let them beat us. And if you couldn't get up to play your biggest rival, are we going to even get up this week? Are we going to show up this week? I don't know. Do you guys have any thoughts on the Cowboys game? Because I don't even want to get into the stats because we already know
it ain't even no point of getting in those stats, man.
Yeah, it was abysmal.
I mean, it was horrible. Like it was no effort at all on either side of the ball. Like not even the defensive side of the ball. Besides that one strip sack that we got from Jalen Carter, and he ran it back for the touchdown. That was it. Like, we only scored 6 points by Jake basically the first half.
The best
Disgusting.
the best completion of the game was from our punter to Olamide Zacchaeus.
Yeah.
That's the best completion of the game.
And
And it's
Zacchaeus'
crazy.
only reception of the game.
And it's crazy that
Well,
the
if you
special
don't-
teams play better than everybody else. And we've been talking about them last
If you
year. They
don't
was
wanna-
garbage.
If that's the only one you're gonna get a ball to, I mean, it's the only one you're gonna let do anything. That's probably the only area that Nick Sirianni is not involved in. He says Jacob was the MVP. Shoot, Jalen Carter
Again.
outscored him. You could say he was the MVP.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Straight up.
It was horrible, man.
All
I
right,
mean, it really
y'all.
ain't nothing to
So,
talk about.
Any other thoughts?
No.
Fair enough. So we're gonna do it like this, and then we go ahead and try to move forward because we do have a game this week. Elite performance of the game. Wyatt, who you got?
Oh man, I'll go with Jalen Carter. He ended up, it was Fletcher Cox that got the strip sack. Jalen Carter ended up jumping on it and taking it in for the touchdown. I mean, he's just, adding on to his resume of why he should probably be like a defensive rookie of the year candidate.
Diva, who you got?
Hassan Reddick, the only one to get after the quarterback.
I'm gonna give my elite performance to Reed Blankenship because he was playing well before he got knocked out of the game. I don't think there's anybody else that even deserves to be spoken of with elite.
Nah.
That was on that field. Now here's one where there's about 50 candidates for the weakest link. Why? Who you got for
we
your
got to
weakest
just pick
link?
one.
Well, it's enough where you could pick 2 or 3 today because this is enough to go around for everybody.
Go ahead, Wyatt. Who's your weakest link?
Oh man, who do I want to go with this time? I'm gonna go with AJ on this one, and that's something that's very surprising. I mean, not only do you have the fumble, but he's just dropping passes that you normally don't. I mean, dude's 1K always open. I mean, he wasn't getting open, and whenever he was getting open, he wasn't catching the balls, man. I mean, he had one that could have been a touchdown, most likely, if he would have caught it. Just not elite to that game.
Wasn't Mr. Always Open that game.
Diva, who you got?
Nope.
Nick Sirianni, Brian Johnson, and Jalen.
All 3 of those are acceptable. I'm gonna go with Smitty. I'm gonna go with both coordinators, Desai and BJ. I am going to go with. I'm trying to think of everybody to go with. There's so many people. I'm gonna go with James Bradbury.
Whole damn team.
Anybody who played linebacker, I'm gonna go with you.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give a half pass to Leonard because he just got on the team, but only a half pass. You still know how to hit. You wasn't doing a lot of that when you did play either. Anybody who had anything to do with play calling or preparation for the run game, you're also a weak link. So I'll stop there. There's several more I could go with, but we'll stop there just for the sake of time. We could essentially say everybody but who we had as the elite performances of the game is really a weak link, including the offensive line. You were not good this week either. All right. So he says we need to be reimbursed of our time watching that game. We need to be reimbursed for our fandom of this team this year. AJ Smitty, Nick Sirianni, Key says, and she also says Desai. All those are excellent
all
candidates.
Great options.
Obviously, we're all talking about weakest links because none of those deserve any type of consideration for anything but that.
Nope.
All right, y'all. So we do have a game coming up this week. And we do have to play in. It's our game of the week versus the Seattle Seahawks. Diva, will start with you. Actually, I'll go first. I ain't went first. I'll go first. Keys to the game. My keys to the game are somebody take Nick Sirianni and throw him in a chest and lock it. Put him some snacks in there and some eye holes and take his headset. That way we can actually see what Brian Johnson can do as an OC. But all jokes aside, and it's not really a joke, but I'll say it's a joke. All jokes aside, we have to run the ball. We have to expand what we're doing by using different formations. We can't come out and shotgun every play. We can't come out in trips, and everybody knows when we go shotgun trips, it's going to be a screen pass, or we're going to try to go deep to either Smitty or AJ. Jalen Hurts has to look at the other receivers and throw them the ball. We're the only team that's never had a game this year where you had that one guy like step up. You watch other teams play, and it's like, oh man, I'll take the teams we played. Brandon Ayuk had a great week. They had some other dude, I don't even remember his name. He had a great week for the 49ers a couple of times, right? You talk about the Cowboys, you had games where you had Brandon Cook step up and have big games. When it's the Eagles, it's always one of two people. Always. We have to get away from that. We have to make people respect everybody else that's on the field. Simplify the route. Stop everything from being deep. And Jalen, I know you're learning. I'm gonna walk back from some of the things I've said about Jalen. I want Jalen to go out there and make a lot of audibles and get us in some good positions. I'm gonna walk some of that back because I do have to realize this is Jalen Hurts' third year as a starter. He's 25 years old. So even though I want him to be at a certain level, he's not there yet. So what I want from you, Jalen, what you can do for me is make the plays that are there and don't worry about what you're supposed to do. Use the proper progressions that you've been taught and throw the ball when it's open. Don't worry about what you think you see. Don't worry about what you think might happen. Just do it. If it doesn't work, oh well. You're going to go 3-and-out anyway if you keep doing what you're doing. So let your instincts take over and play football. Call the audibles when you should. Extend the plays. Help the guys get open. And just work on being a leader, man. Make the team better. And show us some emotion one of these weeks. Show us some emotion. The most emotion I see from you is when you get ready to do the tush push. That's the hypest I ever see you. Give us a little more. Give us a little more. Defensively, guard somebody. Decide you have to work in the young guys. It's going to be learning pains, but that's because you didn't do your job and you prepared them early. You brought them in to be depth, but then you don't use them. At some point, you have to. If you want to do anything in the playoffs, if we can get there and do something, it's going to have to be with depth. What if somebody gets hurt? What are we going to do? You've got to prepare the next guys. You've got to. There's going to be some plays where they're going to miss out. It's going to be some plays where they're going to miss a read. They're going to go do to the wrong spot. But guess what is happening anyway? I mean, it's not like we're sitting here looking at a team who, oh, man, we only play these guys because they're playing so well and they're such a high-rate defense. That's not the case. We are very low in almost all defensive rankings. First 7 weeks, top running team on defense. Since then, not so much. Giving up 33 points the last 3 games. So many bad things going on. The only way to fix them is get back to fundamental football. You have to tackle, you have to cover, you have to hand off, you have to talk. Somebody's got to step up and be the guy who gets people in positions because you don't have that guy. He's on IR for a second time this year. He's not coming back. Make it happen. Passion, desire, will, drive. Hopefully y'all know what those words mean and you use them this weekend. And the words of key, run the dang ball and stop swinging for the home run. Diva, what you got?
You got to be creative, man. Like you really do. You got to start scheming your players open, using more than just AJ and Devontae. I mean, Dallas Goedert really didn't have that many plays called for him either last week. We barely saw Zacchaeus. Julio, I don't know where he was at. He went on the field like that. So you got to be creative and stop throwing the ball on 1st and 10, man. You run the ball. I'm not understanding why are you trying to sling the ball 40 yards down the field on 1st and 10. That don't even make sense at all. 2, you need to put Jalen in positions where he's comfortable. You can tell he is not comfortable. That is why the plays are taking so long to develop. My man gets stuck a lot. Like, he's really getting I'm surprised he ain't injured by now, honestly. Because he's getting stuck because he's trying to get AJ open. He's trying to get Devontae open because you're not using schemes to scheme them open. You just throw it on to AJ, throw it on Devontae, throw it to Goddard. We got Jack Stoll. You could use him, put him in the mix up, have 2 tight ends on the field at some point in time. You ain't even got to have AJ and Devontae on the field all the time. Like, you have depth on the offense to use more players. You just have to learn how to use them in situational situations. Run the ball. I don't want to see Gainwell. I don't want to see Gainwell unless it is absolutely critical that we have to use Gainwell. I want to see Swift and Boston Scott, and I really want to see Rashard Penny because I feel like that is what we're missing. We need that bulldozing running back that is going to, on your, 2nd and 3, you can use him, bulldoze, right on to the 1st down. Use him at the goal line, bulldoze, right on into the end zone. It's not making any sense at all. So please get creative. Please try to figure, if you don't, go back and watch film from last year. I'm going to keep saying that. Go back and watch film from last year if you don't know how to make creative plays. You got everything you need in the vault. It is no reason why we do not have any creative plays at all. You got everything you need in the vault. If you go watch film and not watch self-scout report, as Nick Sirianni says, where's watching film at, dude? That is the point of film. So I hope that y'all go and watch film from the week that Dallas plays Seattle so that we can learn how to line up and get plays down the field like we're supposed to and run the ball. I don't understand why you don't understand running the ball opens up the passing game. Not passing and then running. You run and then you pass. On the defense, I need for y'all to tackle. I need for y'all to go and put your helmet in their chest. I'm tired of seeing people just grabbing people or they just running on past them, and I didn't see Slay scoot over. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? No, Slay, you're right. We're not used to that type of tackle. We're used to that Brian Dawkins, Seth Jordan, we're going to put you on the ground type of tackling. That's how you tackle. That is how you stop people. Not just grabbing at them, grabbing at their ankles. You have to take your whole arms and wrap them around them and bring them down. Period. I think the only person that wanted to do that was Jordan Davis. And he about died out there trying to. I'm just saying, y'all. I'm not understanding at all. Cover the middle. Like, would they be slicing and dicing us in that middle, man? All they got to do is throw a pass to the middle and they get an automatic 15 yards. We could be it could be 4th and 30 and they still get it. Like, how do you let somebody 4th and 30, 4th and 15, 3rd and 15, 3rd and 20? Like, it ain't no way they should get a 1st down off of that. Y'all should be off the field. Now, you did hold them at the goal line a few times, but if it wasn't at the goal line, they was slicing and dicing all through y'all. You have got to stand up. You have got to be a man, and you have got to tackle. Stop. And I'm not understanding why your corners playing 5 yards off, and then you wondering why they getting these big plays. Jam them at the line. I don't see nobody jamming nobody at the line. When you shift slow. Some of y'all look like you don't even know who you're supposed to be covering. A lot of y'all covering the wrong player. I mean, it just make no sense. And then I don't see no circumstantial spies. Like, we really should have had a spy on Dak. It should have been plays where we had people spying on Dak. Did you see that? No. Put some spies in there. We got to have more pass rush because we're not getting after the quarterback. A quarterback should not be able to get their plays out in the amount of time that they getting out. Sometimes they got all day in the pocket like Tom Brady had, and we still can't get to him. I watched Dak Slowtail roll out I don't know how many times, and nobody got to him. Or they missed him. Dak slower than my grandma. and he was able to roll out the pocket and run. That's unacceptable. That is unacceptable. So you have got to hit. You have got to get pressure ASAP. Like, I mean, all in their face. Corners, stop playing so far off. Jam them at the line. That's how you gonna win football. Y'all got to go out there and have heart. Y'all ain't no way in the world that y'all should not have heart when y'all let the 49ers come in there. One, they got all around bad Brady. Y'all ain't even do nothing about that. Like, I mean, they just swarm my dude like he was weak. Y'all ain't do nothing about that. You let him basically get Dom knocked out the game. Y'all still ain't come out and play angry after that. When are y'all gonna get angry? That's how you win games, is winning games angry. So please show up this week, because we have not beat the Seahawks in 15 years. I'm gonna say it again. 15 years. So if we don't got a game plan this week, we done. I'm sorry, we done. Because we ain't gonna make it far in the playoffs. Not playing like this. It's easy. It's fundamental football. And offense, please hold on to the ball. I'm not understanding why y'all all of a sudden got peanut butter hands, jelly hands. You can't even hold on to the ball. You cannot win a game with that amount of turnovers at all. Jalen, hold on to the ball. AJ, hold on to the ball. Y'all just be running with the ball like this, like people can't just push the ball. That's what they're going for. They're trying to push the ball out of your hands, so you have to secure the ball and run. Y'all out there looking like Quez Watkins. He ain't even been on the field like that. Hold on to the ball, man, and run the ball.
She says, I vote Diva for coach, please.
Hell yeah.
Might as well.
Make it happen. Yeah, I mean, both of you pretty much hit the nail right on the head. I don't know if I can say it any better than that. But I mean, you made a great point. You took the words out of my mouth, Cool. Really, I saw that stat the other day about the Eagles run the shotgun the most out of any team in the NFL, when that most certainly should not be the case. There is no excuse for this team to be running out of the shotgun as much as they are, especially with you want to run Jalen Hurts, but you use it out of shotgun, which it makes the already predictable vanilla offense even more predictable. Because you're either passing it or Jalen's going to run the ball, and they already know, they already have a spy on Jalen because it's Jalen Hurts. Why are we not going back to RPOs? You can actually utilize Jalen's run out of the RPO, or like we've been saying for 13 weeks and more, run the dang ball. You have running backs. You have Swift, who have we ever seen him in the second quarter of any of these games all season? He just straight disappears in the second quarter. They'll give him 1 or 2 carries in the first quarter, and then he disappears until the third or fourth. We need to get this dude the ball, because somehow he has close to 1,000 yards and we're barely getting him the ball. Imagine what if we gave him like 15 to 20 carries a game. He would be going off every single time. There was multiple games last year we would have over 200 yards rushing between all of our running backs. I don't even know if we've even had 200 yards rushing in one game this year.
Nope,
let alone multiple, because we can't run the ball, and that's just making a terrible, mediocre offense even more bland. And you just got to get back to the RPO. You got to find things that make the offense click and work. And a lot of that is what Diva was saying, is you got to find ways to scheme people open. I feel like they just expect these guys, well, mainly only Devontae and AJ, to just outrun their man that's covering them every single time, where you can't just do that. You got to find ways to scheme these people open. And they're just not doing that. It seems like they're just running sticks every single time. Just, we're going to take the ball deep, take top off defense, hope it works. Hopefully, maybe we draw a flag. And then more often than not, it's going to be some holding on offense, and it's going to be coming back 10 yards or something like that. Because it's just the dumb mistakes. We were seeing Josh Sweat jumping off sides. We have all these dumb penalties that happen at the worst possible moments. You have fumbles, which, I mean, it is very rare to have AJ and Devontae fumble in one game. It was just seemed like whatever could go wrong went wrong in that game. But I mean, this was a consistent thing with Jalen because he's uncomfortable. We've been saying that all season. We're not running the offense that we should be running under Jalen Hurts. And you're paying him all this money and you're putting him out there to get hurt, it seems. We're just not helping him succeed in any possible way when you even paid him the money to make him that guy, and then you just don't give him the opportunities to be that guy. I don't know. It seems so obvious, and it's just so weird how they say that they're watching tape and self scout and whatnot, but you can't see the most obvious things out there. It's at the point where, like, weeks ago, Dan Orlovsky and some of these other pundits were praising Brian Johnson and this offense, and now this week everybody's talking about how predictable and terrible this team is because we got blown out 2 weeks in a row. And it's like, finally, maybe with the media attention actually talking about it and people up in arms because we got blown out twice, maybe they'll actually do something about it. I don't know if they will. They won't, because they haven't so far. And there's really not much else you can do, even if you go out and, like, as far as defense, try to go out and get another player or two. That's not going to help anything in the long run. Especially you go out and get Suh, that's not going to help. I mean, maybe stop the run a little bit more. That's not going to help within the middle of the field or anything like that. That's going to be the hardest thing to overcome out of everything, is trying to figure out how to solve the secondary woes, whether you switch schemes or what have you. But I mean, as far as defensive notes, just please get a stop of some sorts. Because like Diva was saying, every time they get 3rd and long, I know they're going to convert it somehow. The opposing team's offense. It's like, it's terrible, because as soon as you say it's 3rd and 15 or whatever, they get 10 yards, they're going to go for it on 4th down because they know how weak our defense is every time. It doesn't matter who the team we're playing is. They're going to go for it on 4th down because they know they can get away with it on our defense. And it's terrible knowing that as a fan, because you know they're just going to go down and score on us. And then our offense is probably not going to be able to do anything about it because there's just no fight in them. And that's the thing. Like, yeah, we want to see Jalen have emotion, but where's this emotion from anybody else? AJ just wants to talk trash to the corners out there when it's like, bro, we got beat down the week before. We shouldn't even be talking trash to anybody right now. You should just be going out, make the main thing, like everybody keeps saying, and go out and do your job. But it doesn't seem like anybody's doing their job. You have Slay out here going at Seth Joyner and then posting his own stats after this Cowboys game. Like, hey, look how good I did. And it's like, what do you mean? We just lost by 20 points. And you're still out here flexing your own stats. Like, it's just selfish. And I feel like that doesn't give a good message to anybody else on the team, especially these younger guys that are coming in. And it's like, if you ain't here and giving your 100%, why you here at all? And that's what was cool was saying earlier. I don't know, man. There's a lot to work on and there's a lot to fix. And going into a Monday night game against the Seahawks in Seattle, where we haven't been able to win, you're just asking. I don't know. I'm expecting disappointment at this point, and I hate to say that because I know how good this team can actually be if they're running an efficient offense. And yeah, you can have a somewhat bad defense, a bend not break defense, as long as your offense is clicking. But we are not clicking whatsoever. We're struggling to put points up. You just need to find some way to do that. And because I'm not expecting this defense to be perfect, especially throughout the last couple games and going into the playoffs. But you need to have that offense rolling if you expect to do anything. If you even expect to make the playoffs or try to get a higher seed, you got to do something. And I mean, obviously, it's a little late to go out and rewrite the whole playbook and whatnot. But like you're saying, go back, watch the tape from last year. Everybody should know these plays. You have pretty much the same damn offense as you had last year. Run these plays. It's not hard. It's not rocket science. You know what works, make it work. And yeah, defense, just please get some stops. Please just get some stops so this offense can try to get some points for us. Just 1 or 2 stops, please. It shouldn't be this hard.
You on mute, bro?
You know why we got offsides when we know why we got offsides? Because we don't practice under center. You have to practice. I know. Practice. Yeah, you got to practice. He says lost 23-17, lost 17-9, lost 17-9, lost 24-10, lost 26-15, lost 24-14, lost 31-147. Not exactly sure. Probably part of one of our rants we were talking about. And she says 0-7. Oh, she must be talking about maybe when we're playing Seattle.
Seattle.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Benny says, why Swift doesn't disappear in the second quarter. He's sent to the bench by dumb A Nick because Nick has a love affair with Gainwell.
Yeah.
Who doesn't
exactly.
Gainwell, by the way. The biggest problem for me going forward, like the biggest challenge, is the coordinator of both offense and defense, Mr. Nicky Pants himself, humbling himself and saying, you know what, let me let these guys try the way they want to do it without my influence, and let's see if that works. If that doesn't work, then we can just continue to do what's happening. But what we can't do is continue to do what we've been doing and expect to win, right? We've got 4 games left. These should all be wins. These would have all been looked at as wins 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, hey, even 1 week ago. But now, not so much because we don't know. I implore you, Philadelphia Eagles, for your fans, for your families, for each other, play hard. Play to win the game. Because, it's sad when you go out there and you see us play, the way we played this week. But this is something that Brian Johnson needs to walk into Nick Sirianni's office and say to him yesterday.
You know your damn role and shut your damn mouth.
And Nick should look exactly like that.
And then, in regards to the Dallas Cowboys, there's one last thing I have to say.
Or who we thought they were. And that's why we took the damn field. Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass. But they are who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah, fact.
We need some emotion like that.
Right.
And by the way,
Some of that.
whenever Nick come out there and Nick try to say anything to Brian Johnson about how to run defense, the offense, this is what Brian Johnson needs to say to him.
Cannot play with him. Cannot win with him. Cannot coach with him. Can't do it.
Oh man, you need to go get my boy and be like, practice. We talking about practice. We need that. Because that's all you have to say. Well, practice. Well, where is it on the field on game day?
Right.
Well, not practice, but the way we're playing right now, this might be what's being said in a week or two.
What's that? Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
That's how I'm feeling right now.
Yes.
Please, can we win a game? Please.
That's it.
We in the 5th seed
lastly-
right now.
And lastly, Nick, going from number 1 to number 5 in 2 weeks, this is how I feel about this toward you.
I spit in the face of people who don't want to be cool.
Because you're not cool.
Yeah. I forgot about that one. Haven't used it in a while.
Oh man.
I say that for zingers. The Eagles got to play harder. The Eagles got to want to win games. The Eagles got to have a
Because that's the bottom line. Because Stone Cold said so.
Bottom line.
And then Seattle, we struggling over here. We got a little doubt on what we're gonna be able to do, but we ain't gave up yet. So guess what?
I hope so, man.
Here's hoping.
We need
Go
some of that
Birds.
energy. You're next, because we sure ain't got it.
Oh man.
Oh,
Now's
and
the time to fix it.
whoever plays quarterback for Seattle this week, I think is going to be the other guy, not Gino. But I got one thing for you.
Just bring it, bitch.
I better
We
see
hope
better
so.
out there.
Hopefully Reddick can sweat eating this week.
Well, Reddick always eating. We need
know
some
what?
other players to eat.
Yeah, true. You're right. You're right.
You know what, man? Every time Nick Sirianni starts talking about evaluation crap and not going back and reading film, this is what I'd be thinking.
Tell me he didn't just say that.
That's how I feel after every Nick Sirianni press conference.
Or we got to play
Please
better.
tell me he didn't just say that.
It starts with me as a coach. We got to play better. We'll win.
You got to remember, we're a 10-3 football team. We play good games. We find ways to win. We're dogs. We got dog mentality.
This is how I feel about. This is how I feel. This is how I feel. Nick Sirianni, we talking about sometimes.
Ooh, yeah, nigga, yeah.
I feel like that's how Nick Sirianni envisions himself whenever he's talking like that. It would have come out a whole different way. He just looks like a stumbling, bumbling idiot.
Yeah, that's all they do is stumble over his words. That's how you know he don't have an answer because he don't know. He just be stumbling. Well,
I love this dude at sometimes, but at other times, like this dude clearly doesn't have a clue what he's talking about in some of these press conferences, or he just doesn't have the answers.
Because he don't have a clue what he's doing. So of course he can't answer the question.
It's insane.
I have a belief, y'all. We will be better this week. I'm gonna say it again. We will be better this week.
Well, I'm gonna go pray to the football gods.
Yeah.
We will be better this week.
What the Rock is cooking.
The football gods better help us out. Hopefully, we don't use up all that luck
be on
in
our
the first
side.
11 weeks.
We need you. We need you back. Sorry for whatever we did.
I don't know what we did.
Run the ball.
Maybe we got too cocky.
Run the goddamn ball.
Man, they don't believe in that, man. I'm telling you.
It's as simple as just running like 10 more times a game.
They
don't. And I want to say for the Eagles, y'all got off easy this week on the show. I want y'all to know y'all got off easy this week. You really did. Thankful to you. I did some meditation before the show. You know what I'm saying? And I said, I'm going to give them an opportunity. But if y'all go out there this week and y'all don't win this game, I don't know what's going to happen next week. I don't know
either.
Well, I'm thankful for our chats because that's how I get a lot of my anger out is our chat that we have. Because if it wasn't for that, y'all probably would see a side you won't want to see.
We're gonna be on red alert next week if we lose this game. All man's on deck.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna be going down.
Hey, Benny, get at me, dog.
Yeah, appreciate the gear. Y'all check out
panic
Benny.
Button gonna be pushed right after
Benny hit me up. Y'all like that? Yeah, with the Eagles gear. Y'all check out Benny for real. Shout out to Benny. Betty Boom.
Well, with that being said, y'all, there's a lot more we could say, but it ain't no point because the people we really need to say it to, the people we really need to say it to, they ain't here. They ain't. But if they was, we would say it to them. Make sure you check us out. Make sure you check us out. Diva, tell them where they can find you. Wyatt, tell them where they can find you.
You can find me at Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, whatever you want to call it. I'm on it all. YouTube. Just put in CM Cobb on YouTube. I'm Black Light Mass Incarceration Show. That's where you can find me.
Yep. And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Wyatt Regard, and also my other show, Cinema Trip Reviews, on Twitter and Instagram, and also on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. Come out with a new episode every Wednesday.
Y'all know what it is. I'm not saying it again. I'm gonna holler at y'all.